And everybody, welcome once again to Bottom Card Booking right here on UndefinedRadio.com. Appreciate you guys and gals tuning in for another edition of Bottom Card Booking as we get you through this June flying on by. It's just pretty much everything seems to be. Now here we got Alan Two Count Lentz in the studio tonight. So
in the flesh.
We don't have Randy here. He's out in Arkansas.
Yeah. What's he doing? Some rodeo?
Doing some rodeo stuff. I'm pretty sure he's doing some rodeo stuff. It's the season for Randy, so he'll be out doing that quite a lot. So
traveling.
That's right.
Living on the road.
Exactly.
Doing rodeo things.
Exactly. So
playing in the dirt, I'm sure.
He'll be doing a lot of that.
Little country boy stuff.
That's right. So it's just me and you, dude.
Yes, sir.
Just me and you to hold the fort down.
We can carry it, I think, maybe.
Well,
what you think?
I'm not too sure we can carry it,
but
okay. We'll do our best.
Yeah,
right.
We'll try.
Best. It's not like we talk a lot anyway when we're on the show.
Yeah, no, we don't.
It seems
we
like
only
Randy's
talk for like an hour.
Usually the odd man out when it comes to talking because we're talking so much. I feel bad for it sometimes. But he's the one that knows things, right? He's the one that actually knows
he can
stuff.
He can bring up the stuff and bring us to talking about, well, not us, you two, to talking about old things.
We do talk about a lot of old things.
So Sportatorium.
There's a lot of good things happening in wrestling, man.
What happened on this day in Memphis wrestling in 1984 or something?
I gotta say, I don't know a lot about Memphis wrestling. I don't. I didn't arrive here until I was 18, right? So I grew up in Texas watching World Class. Of course, if it wasn't World Class, I was watching his WWF at the time. So and a little bit of World Class, I'd watch it when it was NWA transitioning over to World Class. I'd watch it too growing up. So
big fan of the Von Erichs, right?
Oh yeah, huge fan of Von Erichs now. Von Erichs are awesome.
Have you seen their what are they in? I think they're in Ring of Honor. Or maybe they're MLW.
Kevin Sons?
Yeah. The Von Erichs are in one of those companies, and they're
pretty good too.
Yeah, they're like one of their top talents up there. So I think it's MLW that they're in. Pretty sure it's MLW.
It might be. I know they wrestle for a few of those companies actually, but they do really well. Yeah. It's good to see that something good comes out of some of that, and it's you watch the Dark Side of the Ring. There's actually a good interview with Kevin Von Erich where he tells a lot about the tragedy that struck the Von Erichs, him being the last Von Erich son, the only surviving one out of all of them.
Man, I need to go back, and I
of
say it
them,
every
right?
week. I say it every week. Like, I need to go back and watch these Dark Side of the Ring episodes or biographies, whatever that they've done on like the Von Erichs and just talent that I really don't know about, just because I'm younger and don't know the history as well as somebody that's in the business probably should, or should want to.
Well, you're talking about different generations too, though, man, because you're talking about you grew up in the Mid-South area,
right?
I mean, right here around Memphis and all that. So this is
like,
going to be more of the stuff you'll know anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I grew up in Texas around World Class. I mean, I'm born and raised, so that's why I know so much about it. And it's like when I come up here, I didn't know who Jerry Lawler was. Bill Dundee I'd heard of a little bit, just because he was making the rounds in all different kind of places. I used to watch Georgia sometimes, some of their wrestling, and so I knew who Bill Dundee was and a couple of these guys were, but I didn't know anything about Memphis wrestling because down there it was all Texas. I mean, it was world class this, world class that. And if it wasn't that, it was WWF at the time.
I doubt they were really focused on Memphis.
No, they weren't
back then in Texas.
So by the time I moved up here, that was getting towards the end of World Class anyway, and then that's when Memphis started doing their things for World Class and all that. So, it was a little bit different. So I missed a lot of that stuff.
Did you ever get to go to a show at the Coliseum?
Never.
Never?
Not. I only went there when WWF came to town.
Okay.
But I never got to witness, Mid-South in its heyday, Memphis wrestling in its heyday at the Coliseum. And I regret that. I hate that's something I never got to witness.
Yeah.
Because I love going back and watching some of these old videos and how well they would sell out. And
because it was like every Monday night they'd sell out, right?
Yeah.
For a while anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, when I'm training these guys and talking to them about wrestling or talking about all these things they want to do, I'm like, dude, if you'll just study the psychology of old school wrestling coming up, and we say that a lot on here because it always works.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what generation you wrestle in. Old school storytelling works. The psychology of old school wrestling always works, and it always will.
Mm-hmm.
It's just what you do around all that now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're never going to go back to what it was, regardless of how bad Jim Cornette wants it to. It's not going to.
No.
It's just not going to.
I mean,
But-
you can see influences of it
Yeah.
depending on who's running the company, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, for the most part, like I mean, I like to. I guess I would say probably the end of the old school storytelling way was like my childhood. You know, going into the Attitude Era, coming out of it. And I think I've said on the show before, like once WWE went to the HD deal, you know, which was like 2010, 2011, something like that. Like I feel like that's when WWE kind of started going downhill for me. Anyway, because you didn't have. I mean, Triple H was still working some, but it wasn't as much, and you know, you still had your Cenas, you still had your Ortons, but that's not the Attitude Era guys.
Yeah, but you didn't have every generation has had their top stars,
Mm-hmm.
their top dudes, right? They're guys that got up there and actually could carry it. And after Rock and Austin left WWE, you didn't have it.
Yeah.
People are like, well, Cena, but it wasn't the same.
Mm.
Cena was there to fill a void and to appeal to the children. That's really what it was. I mean, you can say what you want to. You can try to make that argument that that's not the case.
The multicolored shirts,
It's the case.
every other show,
That's right.
like, you know, something different merchandise-wise.
Yep.
Like, Cena was a merchandise grabber. Like,
Exactly.
That's what he was doing. Which, I mean, but he's John Cena, so.
And I would be honest, I think the biggest group of stars that you had was probably late 80s, mid to late 80s WWE. You know, it was WWF still, Hogan, Savage. You had all the great big
Piper.
stars at the time. I mean, you had so many just up and down the board who could work and go and all that. And I think there was a time in the Attitude Era where you had a lot of that too as well, where you had a ton of stars. Even outside of Austin and The Rock, you still had Undertaker, Foley, HBK, Bret Hart. I mean, you had so many that could still work. And Kurt Angle came into the mix, and Chris Jericho was coming into the mix, and you still had Triple H. I mean, there's just so many of them. Yeah, you had Benoit, you had Eddie, and there were so freaking many. But then it seemed like they lost everything.
There used to be so many household names, like regarding wrestling. It's crazy, and I just had this thought in my head, but it's crazy how few household names there are in wrestling now with all the social media stuff that we have and like all the different ways that things can be put out now. Like you really don't have those household names anymore, and but it goes back to creative, I think.
Well, it does.
A big part of it's creative.
That's the problem.
Not knowing how to build people.
Well, this is the problem, and I want to get to a couple of these comments right here. Like Chef says, you got to meet Jerry. He got to meet Jerry Lawler a couple years ago. Great guy who's appreciative of the fandom and willing to spend a little time with all of us, which is true. And Jerry knows. He knows what the business is.
Yeah.
The business is the fans. Without the fans, you don't have the business.
Right.
And again, old school storytelling. Jerry Lawler can still get in the ring and work because he understands what it is, what wrestling is.
Yeah, he doesn't have to do a bunch of moves.
He doesn't have to.
He doesn't have to
and
do
can
it.
still tell a great story that fans get invested in. It's really simple, but it's so difficult at the same time. Randy says WWE started going down when they put TV writers in charge instead of the talent. I agree. I agree. There's no way a television writer should be writing wrestling. It's not the same. It's a different kind of storytelling altogether.
Yep.
And somebody who's never been in the ring should never tell anybody who does it on a daily basis what they should and should not.
That's why you had 2 roll-ups as finishes on Hell in a Cell last night.
That's right. And now, grant you, the Seth Rollins was an inside cradle, which is a legit move too. And it's kind of it was kind of cool to see that happen, but you shouldn't have got that kind of pinfall and then later on in the night just get a schoolboy or the roll up of death.
Yeah.
In
the main event.
Yeah, the main
of
event,
your show.
especially for your big title, right?
Right. That's how Drew McIntyre's hopes for the Universal Championship go down the drain. As long as Bobby Lashley's the champion. Like,
And I was like, this is how it
This
is.
is
Like,
it.
really. And it was such a good match, though. And here's the
physical, man.
it was a great match.
Golly.
I love the match. The match was really, I just hated the finish. Just hated the finish.
Yeah.
The match was really good. I mean, so I have no complaints about it. And a lot of the matches were good. It wasn't that the matches were bad. Best part of that show was Pat McAfee, by the
Right.
way. It's just, Pat McAfee makes everything better.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Pat's entertaining. And
Give me some Pat McAfee salt and pepper. My food will taste better.
probably.
Some Pat McAfee seasoning and put on my steak. Steak's going to be better. Anything Pat McAfee touches is going to be better.
Yeah,
It was
that's why
great.
Michael Cole has gotten back to the old Michael Cole a little bit, because Pat put his hand on his shoulder and gave him
That's right.
gave him the rub.
He put that Jesus mojo on him or something. I mean, he turned water into wine with Michael Cole is what he did. Because it has rejuvenated Cole, too.
Yeah.
So before it was just you got tired of the same old thing, and now Cole's kind of, and you can tell he's feeding off of it. It's been kind of cool to see.
Because Cole's got to elevate himself
Yeah.
to get to McAfee's level.
Well, I think that's the thing, too. You become lax when you're there. I mean, Cole's been there for 87 years now, so, I mean, good Lord.
And isn't he over the announcers?
I think
if
so.
he's not, he probably should be.
I think he probably is. I mean, he's the guy that probably has communicated everything that's going on.
He's legit been there since like 98.
Yeah.
Like-
So I think he is. And like I said, I love Pat McAfee.
Yeah.
McAfee's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
This dude's not, and what's funny is he's performed in the ring and put himself through the training and didn't do a bad job at that.
Nope.
Carried that feud with Adam Cole and all those guys. I mean, it was fun. That was
Jumped
fun
off
stuff.
the top of War Games.
Yeah, I mean, so it was.
And
To me, that was cool.
Landed flat on his back, by the way. He did not get caught by anybody.
That's right.
He landed flat on his
Yep.
back.
Pat McAfee.
Brutal
man.
bump.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Dude's awesome. Dude was awesome. So, yeah, I mean, but they also did some old school storytelling in that feud with Adam Cole. I mean, they did.
But who runs it? And who runs it?
Oh, sure. Triple H and all that. But I guess that's kind of my thing, too. Like, look, there's going to be a lot of acrobatics going on now. It's going to be hard to get away from because it's just
That's the
style,
way
it
that it's
seems like.
went. That's the way that the wrestling is went
but
now.
the problem is that when your whole match is acrobatics
Yeah.
instead of wrestling
Yeah.
and storytelling, you can use the acrobatics. And if you're good at it, then you should do it. But do it within the storytelling.
Right. Exactly.
Do it within the match and what you're trying to accomplish in the match. Not just because I can do a move, I should do a move.
Mm-hmm.
Make it part of the match. Then I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can do that stuff within the confines of storytelling and getting a match over, absolutely.
Yeah. Make your moveset relevant to the story that you're trying to tell.
It's got to be relevant to it. If not, then it's dumb. So I just think, they've just got to be better at that. And I think that's where WWE has got to let their talent start calling their own shots.
Mm-hmm.
Let them sink or swim.
Yeah.
Bring back managers. If you got a talent who can't talk, get him a manager in there who can.
Yeah.
I make managers relevant again. There's some good ones out there.
And I will say, with Hell in a Cell last night being the last pay-per-view before they go back on tour in front of fans.
Yeah.
Because Money in the Bank, which is the next pay-per-view, it will be in front of a live crowd.
Yes, it will. Which would be awesome.
And so I get it. Like, to a point, I understand like how difficult it has been, and WWE has been running this Thunderdome deal for a year. Not the Thunderdome title, but they've been doing it with no fans for a year now. Right. And so, I bet it is difficult. And I was just thinking about it Friday night while I was watching SmackDown, and Bianca Belair came out to do a promo. And I was listening to it, and I was watching her demeanor, and I was like, man, in front of a crowd, this would be so much better. With Rey Mysterio's, too, that opened the show Friday night, it would be so much better if you had fans in the crowd, in the audience, that could react, so the guys and girls could feed off of their energy.
Well, we're getting back to that.
It's tough, man.
It is. It's awful. That's just rough. We did that drive-in show, or not the drive-in show, but the studio show last year, our first show during COVID.
And it was tough.
That's rough.
It was super tough.
It's rough not being able to act.
I'm glad
off
we only did that
stuff.
once.
Me too.
By the way.
I just hated it. It was awful. It was fun to be wrestling. It was awful. What would it take for the WWE to rejuvenate to the highs it saw during the Stone Cold Rock and, in my opinion, Mankind days? nowadays. I think it's real simple. Again, like kind of what we said there, you're going to have to let your talent sink or swim.
Mm-hmm.
Your talent is going to have to be able to talk and be over their own gimmicks and learn how to work their gimmicks. And you got to stop letting these writers write all their stuff for them. If you want to give them bullet points, let them do that. But if they can't do it, you get somebody else in there who can.
Yeah.
And stop trying to put talent in there that nobody has an interest in, to be honest with you.
Right.
I mean, Raw is 3 hours of God knows why.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because I swear that's the only being in the universe that knows why Raw is 3 hours.
They don't allow you to be invested in the talent like
they
we
don't.
used to be.
They run ridiculous stuff. SmackDown is 2 hours. It's a tight run show, and it's good almost every week.
Yeah.
SmackDown is good. The Roman Reigns stuff is the best stuff on TV, period.
Easy.
I mean, it's not even close.
Yeah.
What else is that good? As far as really drawing you in with what they have going on, there's a reason.
Let me hit you with this question.
Roman Reigns is tops.
Do you think that the Roman Reigns story that they're running on SmackDown right now, do you think it could work on Raw?
Yeah, as long as you let Reigns do the deal. But the problem, again, with Raw is it's too long.
It is.
That's what's wrong with Raw. And so the show drags in places because you're trying to do filler stuff instead of, first of all, letting wrestlers wrestle. Just let them wrestle.
And you talk about filler stuff, the whole show is just filler.
It is. It's just,
the whole show is filler.
It is just terrible. And it's like, man, how do y'all not know how this works by now?
Yeah.
I mean, but if you let the wrestlers go out and do their stuff, I get there's a lot of money involved.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of sponsors you have to get in there. So there's always been that.
Yeah, right. I mean,
so don't tell me that's
that
the
way
reason.
when you were at 2 hours.
Yeah, you can run a 3 hour show, but you got to make it interesting.
Yeah.
And you got to make it make sense, and they don't.
When they first moved over they made it 3 hours.
That's right.
It was fine.
This all goes back to I heard this comment a while back, and it's, we've talked about it, addressed it on the show actually before. Is I heard a dude say, "Man, I don't know why y'all do stories and stuff. Why don't y'all just wrestle? Why don't y'all just do wrestling shows and just wrestle? Because that's not what a wrestling show is.
No.
Now you don't have to do a multi-show story arc. You can do story arcs within a show.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. I mean, some of the best shows will contain that, and you can do that easy enough. But at the same time, you also have to be able to get fans, especially if you're working a town more than once or a venue more than once, then you have to be able to keep pulling the fans back.
Yeah.
Storytelling does that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't want your fans to also leave at intermission, even if you're there for only one time, you have plans on coming back in the future, you still have to have a reason for it.
Yeah.
You have to get them invested in your product.
You have to pull them in to what you're doing.
That's right.
Because if you're not,
no, they're not going to.
They're not going to be interested. They're not going to come back. They're not going to give a crap.
Exactly. So, and that's the biggest thing about it too, is that you have what they with there was Ric Flair. Remember he came and he had that angle with Triple H.
Mm-hmm.
It was one night, really, is what it was. When Triple H was going to take the night off, and so Austin was the commissioner over Raw, the GM over Raw, and so he told Triple H, he wasn't going to defend his title, but it had to be against one of the former world champions, right? Picked Ric Flair to do it. He's a former world champion. Ric Flair was kind of Triple H's manager. Then Triple H wanted Flair to lay down. Flair decided he wasn't going to lay down and stuff. So and at the end of the night, they had their big match where you actually thought that Flair was going to win and stuff. It was great.
Yeah.
That's an example of a one-show story arc.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yep.
And they did that all night long. It was a great show just because of the angle they were running there. So you can do it, but but again though, that's the talent.
Yeah.
Doing the work.
Yeah.
Not the writers doing.
You had two of the best. Well,
because you're not telling Triple
Austin,
H what he's doing. Even then,
no.
Triple H was still kind of was in control of his own stuff and his ideas, and Vince was going to trust him with that.
Yeah.
So, and then of course there's Ric Flair involved in it. You had a lot of people involved in those angles. It was really good.
Mm-hmm.
So let the wrestler develop themselves rather than the writers trying to develop the wrestler. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Completely. Because, and I'm not a wrestler, right? I don't think things the way think about things the way that y'all do. but like you said, I am a ref.
Mm-hmm.
So like I've started thinking about the psychology deals like more often now than what I used to, because like you said, that's how you tell stories. That's how you get people invested, and you know, you've got the talent knows them better than anybody else does.
Yes.
The talent knows themselves better than anybody else does.
That's right.
So why, if I go, okay, from my perspective,
Mm-hmm.
if I go out and just some Billy Bob walks up to me on the street,
Yes.
and he's
Oh,
like,
Billy Bob.
he starts telling me how to referee.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, and I've got an example actually. So, we had the APW show out in Marietta, Arkansas, Saturday night, right?
That's right.
So during intermission, I'm outside just walking around, you know, because it was kind of hot in the building, so I'm just trying to get some fresh air. I walk past this kid, and he says, "Hey, ref, your counts are too slow." And so
There you go.
yeah, he's like 10 or 11 years old. And so I turn and I look at him, and I say, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, they're too slow." I said, "I think they're perfectly fine. I think you know, my counts are on point. My cadence is good, everything." He said, "No, you're too slow." I said, "Have you ever refereed?" He said, "Yes, I have." And I looked at him, and I said, "Where have you refereed at?" And he said, "Backyard wrestling." And I said,
"That's right."
And I told him, you know, because dude, if I got to talk, if I had a chance to talk to any of the guys whenever I was a kid going to shows and stuff, you know, I was kind of thinking about it like that. But I told him, I was like, "Dude, I tell you what," I said, "find me later, because I said I want you to give me some notes on. I want to be able to write down some notes on what you got to say." So, but the point that I'm making is like the wrestlers know themselves, the referees know themselves.
Yes.
Like, you know, you can take advice from people, but
And
as
you
far as a
should.
writer telling you, "Hey, you have to say this," like you have to do this, that I don't think that you can't get the full. You can't get everything out of that person if you're telling them exactly what they have to do, when they have to do it, and how they have to do it.
No, that's right.
Like, you know,
And that's kind of the thing too. And like Chef was talking about right here, he said that makes me think of a baseball scout who says to himself, "We're going to make this young guy the best batter ever, rather than focusing on all the batters and seeing who's best, and then working with that guy." Which I agree. I mean, it's like we pick a guy and say, "That's who I want to be the best dude," but you have a talent over here that's already amazing.
mm-hmm.
But maybe there's something about him I can like, yeah, well, he's amazing, but I really want this guy to be the guy. And that guy doesn't have talent, one.
Yeah.
All right, but you're gonna force it and try to make that work, and it's not gonna work because he has no natural ability to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the funny thing about wrestling, right? Like you can't, like you'll see some of these guys and like that's an athlete right there. He'll be a great wrestler. You get him in there and he absolutely sucks.
Yeah, just lost.
Can't do anything, right?
No.
He doesn't understand the business. Can't pick it up. Can't talk. Can't do anything. And yet this other guy that you thought was not as athletic as that dude, which is probably fair.
Doesn't have a good
A
look.
lot of times. Yeah,
You know,
his look is different.
Up, you know.
But that dude can work. He can talk. He can do all the things you want.
Yeah.
But he wasn't that traditional football player or baseball player or some jack dude, you know, who's going out there. But this guy actually has talent. You can get a guy in the gym and get him a good physique. You can work on that. That should be part of your training, actually.
Yeah.
But you can't. It's hard to make a guy a very it's hard to make a guy be able to talk on a mic. It's hard to make a guy be able to entertain you if he's not disposed to doing that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it takes a certain mentality to do that.
Yeah.
It takes more than athletic skill to do that. Wrestling is such a unique thing.
It is.
And that's why when people are like, wrestling's fake. It's fake. I'm like, dude, let me tell you something about wrestling being fake. Most guys can't do it because most people aren't stupid enough to do it. Let's just be honest. I mean, you got to be half crazy to do what we do in wrestling. Because wrestling says that you have to willingly sacrifice your body to entertain somebody with no padding on. You get wrecked going through steel and wood because that's what a wrestling ring is. It's not some seat, some bed cushion sitting on there.
It's not a trampoline.
No, it's none of that. So, but people who never do it, they don't understand it. They just heard somebody else say, "Oh, wrestling's fake," because y'all are in there entertainment-wise. Well, it doesn't stop you from going to the movies. The difference is that outside of Tom Cruise, everybody else has a stuntman. That's why Tom Cruise is my favorite Hollywood actor. He may be crazy.
Even The Rock has a
in his
stuntman.
real life. Yeah, even Rock has a
Rock has
stuntman.
one.
Tom Cruise, Dude attaches himself to the side of a jet
It's crazy.
for your entertainment.
I'm not doing it.
That's what wrestlers do.
I'm not entertaining you in that way.
But that's what I'm saying. But that's what wrestlers do, right? They sit there and they put themselves in harm's way. You don't have a stuntman. That's you.
Yeah.
That's you. I mean, I've had teeth knocked out. I've had my legs messed up, broken ribs, concussions, all the stuff that never happened to me
You
in
gave
football.
me a concussion.
Yeah, I wiped you out a couple times. I mean, it is so crazy what is involved with professional wrestling. That's what makes it so unique.
Yeah.
And not only that, but it's also theater in the round,
Mhm.
right? So you're getting that live visceral reaction as it happens. Or if you suck, no reaction.
Yeah. And it's just
Which
crickets.
is the worst, man. It's the worst. But that's, again, the power of the individual
Mhm.
and the wrestler who's in there with and the teamwork that goes on and all that happens. That's the uniqueness of professional wrestling that you can't get anywhere else.
Yeah.
I was doing, so I did a lot of community theater work I used to. And for Oklahoma, we did Oklahoma. And I was the, so I did all the combat staging stuff. So that's what I did on there. Not only was I, I played one of the guys, I played Jed in there. So, or Judd. So I played Judd, right? and it's a great thing because when we're working on fight scenes and we're doing all the choreography and coordinating stuff, I don't throw theater punches. So you don't miss by a foot.
Yeah.
I taught my guys being a wrestler. You gotta get close. You gotta make it work. It needs to look.
Yeah. Work that punch.
Or we're taking everybody out of it. I don't want to go and watch a theater show and a theater fight, and they're whipping back 4.5 feet, and they're just dancing around like they're trying to fight. And I can't stand it.
Yeah.
Drives me crazy. So that's how in Oklahoma, that's what we did. My fight scene in there, I had several of them, but the big one was crazy. I mean, we were back there just
Went in storm mode, didn't you?
Oh, dude, it looked like we were murdering each other. I mean, and I had another fight scene with nobody mind that we were doing bumped on that stage.
Oof.
Dude, taking back bumps on that stage, monkey flips, all that stuff. Oh yeah, it was great though. Well, we had the judges were there one night, and there was like, dude, one guy just couldn't stand it. He's, I love the show, I did, but man, y'all's fight scenes were too violent. They look too real. I'm like, they look too real. That was the best compliment I had. I thought.
Yeah.
I was like, I thought y'all were going to hurt each other, but I mean,
Yeah.
But that's the difference between people who do.
Was he into it?
Hmm?
Was he into it though?
He
I mean,
was,
said
but
he
he was
loved the
also
show.
scared because he thought
Somebody was getting
it
hurt.
looked like a real fight.
But
Even when you're using the knives and all the other things that you have to do on there, I mean, stage combat, people were so used to doing things way over exaggerated and missing because they just didn't know how to do other things. And me, I just brought my wrestling training and all that stuff in, and I'm like, look,
it translated in.
we're gonna get a little sore on this one,
Oh yeah.
but I promise you, the fight scenes are gonna look good. They're just gonna look great, and they were real great fight scenes. They looked real, and so it's so crazy doing it, and I love it. But you have to be willing to do that, and these guys, man, you don't understand how to do that, and how to put yourself out there and do that stuff. You ain't gonna make it in this business because it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough, and there's a lot going on when you're doing it that you have to account for, and you have to really get in there and be willing to do. So it's to me, it's nutty. But
because your brain is going the entire time.
Well,
Like,
it
you're in
is.
your match,
That's
and
right.
then even before the match, your brain is going. Like, so your brain is constantly going. Like, even and mine's constantly going while I'm reffing a match. There's so much that I am thinking about, and just kind of I'm seeing things before they happen.
That's right.
And
you have to be
when I
willing
started,
to.
it wasn't that way, but now it's
Yeah.
become where I've worked with some guys so often where I like a lot of the guys that redeemed. I know I figured out the move sets, so I know what they're gonna do.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
can see things happening before they happen, so I can position myself to make sure that I'm out of the way, so that I don't get in the way and get ran over and hurt somebody.
Which again is important.
Yeah.
Because there's so many things happening in there, and that's, dude, it's so funny. It's wrestling being as violent as it is, and it is violent, dude. I turned 51 in less than 2 weeks.
Oh man!
Actually,
happy early birthday!
A week to the day before our next show.
I'll see you again before then, but happy early birthday!
Thank you. But yeah, so it's but you know, and I think about that, and I was like, man, I am 51. I guess it's time to call it a career. I've had 3 injuries in the last year and a half: calf injury, quad injury, and now knee injury. I mean, I feel 2 I could have prevented by stretching better. This last one was just, you know,
it was just a freak accident.
Freak accident. Nothing I could do about it. But you know, you think it gets you thinking. It's like, well, I mean, but I don't like. I know I'm going to be 51, but I don't feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I've had a lot of injuries, but I haven't had major injuries.
And I mean, and with your journey that you've been on, as far as like getting in shape and lifting like you have been doing, like I'm sure that contributes to that a lot.
Well, it does, especially if you're not, dude. And if you're not stretching, and one thing I've learned the hard way, I've got to stretch better. And I'll avoid some of these other injuries. But if you're not willing to put time in like that, dude, even if you don't care about, you know, your physique or anything, you got to do it just to help you recover from these injuries and stuff. Ooh, that's so important. But at the same time, you've got to know that that's part of it, and you know, you have to adjust how you do things, and then you have to make decisions on whether or not you want to keep doing it. I keep talking to family and friends about retiring, right? You know, especially after this last injury hurt so bad and stuff, and you know, it's you know, still trying to recover from it. And then you wonder, it's like, man, is it now's the time I need to retire? And you're going, but that injury, the reason I know why I got hurt.
Right.
It wasn't because my body couldn't handle it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that wasn't the reason I got injured. You know, it's not. I mean, 20 years ago, I would have had the same injury.
Yeah.
And it's not because I'm older.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just what happened with this injury, and so, you know, how it happened. So, you know, but you hate that, but at some point, you look, Austin retired young.
Yeah.
Foley, young.
Mm-hmm.
You figure Vince McMahon wanted him to have his last match in 1999. 1999, 22 years ago.
And Foley's not old.
No, and you see how he's walking now, though, right?
Yeah.
Can barely move around.
Well, I mean, he's done some insane things too.
Sure,
you know?
and that's a lot of it.
Yeah,
that's dude.
And
that was
he did some crazy things before he got to WWE.
Yeah, but I'm excited for Last Stand. That's coming up on July 10th out at White Baptist Family Life Center. That's going to be a huge show.
Yeah, Redeemed Wrestling back again.
I am so excited about this show. This is going to be fun.
It's going to be huge, man.
Yeah,
I'm excited for
it. Every match should be good. If you've never seen a Redeemed show and you want something to do on a Saturday night, this is something you're going to want to see. This is going to be the event of the summer around here for things to do and fun to be had. This is going to be it. It's going to be great. We have an insane amount of talent on this one show.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's nuts.
Yeah, people
that is nuts.
And I think sometimes it's taken for granted just how much talent that is at Redeemed.
That's a lot.
Because it's a lot of talent.
Dude, it's a lot of talent.
And, you know, the more you get out and the more you see other talent in other places, you realize, like, how good it is at home.
It is. Really. You take that for granted a lot, I think.
Yeah.
I'm at other shows sometimes. It's like, And that's not to put down any guys.
No.
I'm not saying that at all. But you realize just the quality and amount of quality talent you have.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you know you're pretty blessed to have that kind of talent. I mean, we've got so many good guys that are there, and you can look at pretty much any match. You go, there's talent in that ring. Well, there's talent in that ring. There's more talent. There's more talent right there. I mean, you've got older talent. You've got younger talent. You've got a great mix of talent across the board. But so much talent that you can look around at pretty much anybody and go, well, that guy can go, and that guy can go, and this guy can carry it. And they all have different styles.
Yep.
It's such a unique blend of styles.
You're not watching the same thing all night.
You're not. And it's, I feel that the stories are good. I feel that the guys can really go and tell those stories, and, and the way they handle it and they interact with the fans. And we do a lot of old school wrestling, and we mix it with, a lot of the new school stuff, because that's the kind of talent we have. We have guys that don't just flip and flop all over the ring all night long.
Right.
They don't just do moves to do moves. They're there to to entertain you with the story and bring you into it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm telling you, Memphis Wrestling now is on TV, and we've got 3 of their guys
Yeah.
who've been wrestling for us. You got Walker Hayes.
Yep.
You got Jackson Crowley on there. The Gun Show just started working with us. Brett Michaels, who just got back from Hollywood, out there doing some things out in Hollywood. I mean,
Ken
Dang, dude, he's on there too. Right? So we got
there.
4. That's 4
Yeah,
talents we
he's
got.
on there now too.
And Ken Dang's awesome. He's our Southern X champion.
Yep.
And again, there's talent out there. We got old school talent like Brody Hawk just came in for us, and that's a rough and tumble dude.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, Midnight Rooster. Another good dude. I worked with his uncle for
Big
so long.
Dude.
Big, huge dude.
Dude can move.
He can.
Rooster can move.
I mean, so there's such good talent. We got new guys like Malachi.
Yeah.
Was in there. You got Deacon Pierce. You got Tommy Too Good. You got Smitty. You got Two Legit Michaels. I mean, come on, Colton Anderson. You got Big Red in there. You got Mike Reels.
Yep.
Just came back. We got Mike in there.
Alex
Cross, who was our champion, youngest champion by far we've had. Kid's just 18 years old.
And Alex, when I first started coming to Redeemed, Alex was training. And so that's been a little over 2 years now.
Yeah.
And Alex was training whenever I first started coming.
That's right.
And so to see his growth, and it's all about listening. And,
sure.
And knowing how to take critiques and use those critiques to make yourself better. And Alex is one of those guys that's done that.
Yeah. And you have to be willing to do it.
Right.
I mean, that's why I love our locker room. It's a good locker room, too. There's not just a whole bunch of crazy garbage that goes on because you can't have it. And, and it's just fun. It's just fun. And you got new people coming in all the time, new people getting trained up, and like in our Redeem School, we've got a couple trainees now. I have people, asking all the time, but that's kind of the thing too. Like I had a guy message me last night about training, and I woke up this morning to that, and so I answered him. And it's just I used to. It's funny when you get older, you care a lot less about hurting somebody's feelings as far as wondering if you're just being a little too blunt, and not even just being mean, just being too blunt. But my whole point is that look. This is what wrestling is. It's hard. And you got to be willing to put in the time and the effort and don't believe you're going to be on WWE tomorrow just because you came here. It's more than flip-flopping around the ring and taking a bump. It's a lot more than that.
Yep.
And you got to be dedicated to it.
We had one kid come in one night. He wanted to train or something, right?
Yeah.
And I think you had him take a back bump or maybe 2 back bumps?
Yep.
Never saw the kid
again.
Nope.
That's how it happens.
It's like, man,
it happens.
Come on, man.
It happens with a lot of people. I mean, And we do have Junior, by the way. Look, let me tell you something about Junior.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of.
Junior's
and
good.
that's not to overlook Junior. I didn't put me and Junior in that conversation. I consider us one the same, and not to boot, because I don't like tooting my own horn, except for when I'm in the ring. But you know how that is.
Storm mode.
That's it. So, but Junior, I've been proud of Big Junior, right?
Yeah.
That sucker's made a lot of progress.
Yeah.
For somebody who hasn't really been trained, I brought him in as my bodyguard, because, he's there for his son, really. And then Junior's such a good dude, too. And I thought, you know what, we got to get him in there doing something. And when I ran my heel gimmick, I need a bodyguard. Who's the biggest dude in here besides me?
Who's been our security?
Junior.
Like,
And, dude, I got some new patches, Junior, coming, too, by the way. I'm working on some new patches for the vest, by the way. So,
breaking news.
Dude, it's great. They're pretty cool looking, but that's what I'm saying. Junior's another one of those. I put Junior in some stuff these last couple of shows because I've been out. I haven't been able to do it, so Junior's had to step up and do some stuff.
Yeah,
that he hasn't necessarily been prepared to do. But dude, talk about doing it like a champ, though. Going in there and just taking care of business and learning as he goes in there.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't just mail it in.
Yeah,
Like everybody else there. He puts in the time, puts in the effort, and he sells out for it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it's about.
Yeah.
And every guy in Redeemed does that.
Right.
Does that. We got this little kid in there. I call him a little kid. Juno's not really a little kid, Mark.
Yeah.
But, again, I never knew this kid from nobody. I don't know who this dude was. He came in and started coming up there, but even he gets out there and, he's 3.5 foot tall, but he goes out there and does it.
Come on.
And that's respect, buddy.
Yeah.
That's respect right there. You can go in there and do that. That is respect. It just says, even in the old age, wrestlers can remain relevant and successful, much different than other sports. Just look at Ric Flair. He's still singing, woo! Yes, he is.
Oh yeah.
Yes, he is. Rick's still going strong.
Rick took a suplex from Andrade into a pool a couple weeks ago on his birthday.
See, there you go.
He said, and then he tweeted out the video, and he said the form was a little bad. I'll work on it next time. And I'm like, man, Flair.
Flair's awesome though. But you have guys like that now. People are like, well, yeah, but all these other wrestlers that passed away. You kind of look at why they passed away. Wrestling, there's a lot of abusive things that really used to happen. I don't think that abuse is as prevalent as it used to be back in the day when that was, they come in there eating pain pills like Skittles, right? I mean, just hand over fist. And it's a little different now as far as that goes. Now you have doctors there that really help out and stuff. And so I think it's a little bit different that way. But, yeah, for the most part, though, these guys take care of yourselves and modify the way you work and things like that. So I was telling them the other day, when I come back after this injury, I'm about to Jerry Lawler it.
There you go.
Just going to beat people up.
So are you gonna be dropping the fist from the second rope?
No, dude, my knee ain't taking that.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I ain't stealing his moveset, just his work style. That's the difference in it.
Come in, throw you some punches.
Dude, I ain't getting all these muscles and getting strong for nothing. There's a reason behind it. You get as old as I am, some of those bumps you can't take anymore, apparently. Which is what happened to this injury right here. Dude, that leg's still messed up. That sucks.
You got how many weeks you got left? About 5 or 6?
Oh, God.
Maybe?
I would say at least 6. Probably more. Probably more. I mean, my knee doesn't hurt or anything like that, but it's, it sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, today is my first day I've done legs. I did a light leg day today.
So try to do a little bit
back
today
and
with
legs, yeah. So I was able to actually push, no pain. But I still got swelling in it, and I don't have full range of motion in my left leg yet. My right quad is still messed up. I don't have all the strength back in it yet. So, that was a torn quad. So that's a longer healing injury.
You may get cut down to Geno size.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, though. I'm going to have to stop and do something else.
Randy will be the tallest one at Redeemed.
Well, he already is.
Well, yeah, I guess you're right.
He already is.
I guess you're right.
Dude already is. Speaking of Randy, he says those guys had a brutal schedule. That's why they use painkillers, and that's true.
Yeah.
Dude. But and the rings they were wrestling on.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my Lord. You thought these rings were stiff. Those rings were big-time stiff. I was doing boxing training the other day, and Chase was in there. Ron was working out. Chase was in there. He was like, this ring's hard, isn't it? I'm like, yeah, dude, it's just like that floor out there. His eyes got big. I'm like, that's why we don't bump in the boxing ring. Because that boxing ring is solid.
Yeah.
I mean, it's solid. And
yeah, there's no giving that.
No. I'll tell you what, though, boxing cardio's fun. It's good. It'll wear you out. It'll wear you out, but it'll also rip you up.
Man, I so with my job, I deliver semi-trailer parts or whatever, across Memphis. And so I went to this place this morning, had to deliver a 54-foot aluminum roof.
There you go. That sounds like fun.
God. Had it rolled up. They roll it up, so that's the only way we can transport it. Because how else are you going to transport a flat 54-foot roof? So we rolled it up, and that sucker's heavy. Okay? After a couple feet, and I'm talking maybe up to 15, 20 feet, something like that.
Yeah.
It starts getting heavy. And so I had it, went to deliver it, told the guy, I was like, look, you got to get the forklift, get the extension so we can get the sucker off. And so one of the workers came over there and he was like, lower the tailgate. And I was like, dude, you don't understand how heavy this thing is. Well, so he walked away. I just lifted it up or whatever to see just how heavy it was. And I did I pushed it up twice, and I was like, God dang it, man. My shoulders were hurting, but I laid the tailgate down, and I was like, y'all handle this because I'm not touching it again. But
tough.
Just that little lifting put some strain on my shoulders. But I mean, yeah, I need to work out.
That gym, buddy.
I need to work out.
All you gotta do is come to the gym. Dude, I got
where's the location? Because my map on my phone, when I search gym or local gyms, nothing comes up. So I don't.
Dude, you've been to Fitness 2000. What are you talking about?
It's
Like you
over there
don't know. Like you're shocked that it
It's
exists.
over there by the ice cream shop, right?
Dude, that's all you can think about is the ice cream
Exactly.
shop.
That's my point.
That's a
what
problem,
I'm saying.
buddy. That's a problem. Happy Father's Day, by the way, to all you fathers in town.
Oh yeah.
This is the day after Father's Day. Hope you guys had a great Father's Day out there. I mean, it was a good day, fun day. I actually went and watched. My daughter wanted to go see A Quiet Place too.
It's pretty good.
I've never seen the first one.
Well, you
And
should've
apparently,
seen
I
the
don't
first
think she has to. It has either. So
you should have seen the first one.
I do.
Because I bet it confused the crap out of you.
No,
After
because
the first like 10 minutes,
well, actually, you know, the
and then
first few
Krasinski
minutes.
never shows up.
Well, it shows you what happens.
Yeah.
You know, that first few minutes, like okay, and then it goes, and when you see her out there, and what happens there, you go, okay, well, he obviously died, and obviously they're down a child. That must have sucked. So I have to go watch it again.
Yeah.
I like this. It's a good movie, though.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
I would definitely recommend watching the first one.
Yeah, I'm going to go watch it.
And then
I'm gonna have
going
to
and
watch
watching the second one again.
it. Yeah.
But yeah.
It was nice sitting in a theater again.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, I enjoyed it.
Toby's
I mean, just
nice.
sitting there watching a new movie. I've been back a couple times watching the older movies when you know, because Keith's been doing that the whole time. But I was like, you know what? I'm best to go in here and watch and sit down and just watch a new movie. It's going to be, and I'll see how this is. And I just, man, I can't wait for the next one.
You gonna go see Fast 9 this weekend when it comes
I'll
out?
go see that ridiculousness.
I'm gonna watch it too.
I don't care.
I'm gonna watch it too.
Judge me all you
They've
want
got
to.
somebody named John Cena in it, but you know you can't see him. So
Yeah. Randy says the Jim, Alan, not Jimmy Johns.
what's this guy doing, man? I've never even had Jimmy John's, so take that. I've never had Jimmy John's.
And Randy said you ain't never had a gym either.
Yeah. Not since like high school when they forced me to go to the gym
That's
for
right.
football.
That's true. That's
I didn't
true.
do anything then either.
No, but yeah, dude, I'm telling you what, though. That's so funny. Nah, it was fun going to the movies. I enjoyed that crap so much.
Yeah,
It
I need to
was
go and see the Hitman's
Wife's Bodyguard.
wife's bodyguard.
That looked good. Fast 9, I mean, you know Fast 9 is going to be ridiculous.
Right.
You know.
It's out off the wall.
I saw a couple guys, it's just outrageous. Now I'm like, dude, it's been outrageous. It was outrageous at movie 1.
Yeah.
Because nobody can drive like that. You may have one person in the world that can drive that way, not a whole street full of them.
Yeah.
Because you hear about these wrecks all the time. These dudes trying to do crazy stuff.
In Memphis.
Yeah, so it's not. So it's not like it wasn't outrageous from the start.
The 240 loop is just every race car driver's or every racing person's dream in Memphis.
Oh yeah. Well, my
love it.
girlfriend's driving on 240. Sometimes we'll be talking on the phone. You'll hear, there go the Mustangs again.
Yep.
For whatever
Just
reason.
rolling right by.
Oh yeah. Dude's just thinking they cool. Look what I can do, man. I can ride my car real fast. But the police up there don't stop anybody. They only stop the regular drivers with headlights out and stuff. They don't They don't stop anybody.
Well, see, here's because the thing is, if you're driving the speed limit on 240, you're getting ran over.
Yes, you are.
You've got to at least be going 25 miles an hour over the speed limit just to not get ran over.
So I have a confession to make.
That's every street in Memphis, though.
We were coming back from eating the other night at Bon Chibo's in Hernando, Mississippi, which you should all go check out. The pizza was excellent, and the blueberry cheesecake pie. Oh my God,
That's not good for your diet.
oh it was. No, blueberries healthy. Blueberries are very healthy. Cheesecake has milk in it. It's pretty good for it, I gotta say. We were coming back. All of a sudden, we're almost to Senatobia, and we come up on this lady fast. I mean, she is just putt-putting it. Just about 60, a little less than 60 miles an hour on the interstate. Like, dude, this crazy person about to get run over, and I may have. I'm not going to say I do. But it's a possibility I have road rage.
Oh,
It's a possibility.
I could never see that. Chick.
Yeah, I know it. I know it's hard to believe. So we roll up on it. I'm like, man, are you this piece? And I'm just saying
Saying some very choice words.
So we go around her, right? And this little old lady who's barely looking over the steering wheel, trying to concentrate on staying between the white lines. I'm like, man, now I kind of feel bad. I'm like, Jesus, I'm sorry. But she don't need to be driving.
You know,
You cannot drive 60 on the interstate. That's how people get killed on the interstate. Not by speeding for the most part, by driving slow.
yeah. What's the minimum on the interstate? 45.
I hope
If
not.
you're going 45 on the speed,
hope
on the
not.
interstate, yeah, there's a chance if you're going 45 after you get on at Coldwater
Yeah.
on 55 going north.
Oh, you're done.
You're going into the water.
That's right.
Like,
Oh, dude. I was like, oh, man, this poor lady, this is going to be. She happened to get off the Senatobia exit, thank God, because she was slow and people were coming up on her. Because we came up on her pretty quickly. Junior said, that was me. Dude, you got to learn how to drive, buddy.
come on, Junior.
Junior couldn't even fit in that car. That was
Little Pinto?
he was not fitting in the front seat of that thing. Little compact, crazy looking compact car SUV
Probably
hybrid
a
thing.
Toyota thing.
Dude, it was that poor old gray-headed old lady. I mean, she was concentrating so hard. I mean, she was right there on the steering wheel just looking over, and I just saw disaster. It's like, man, I get it.
I want to see Junior get in one of those cubes. You seen those cars, the cubes?
There ain't no way. Hell, I couldn't fit one of those.
I
either.
want to see it.
There's no way.
I want to see. You can take the driver's side seat out and
Sit in
just
the
sit in the
back
back
seat?
seat. Yeah.
That's how it would have to
drive
be.
from the back seat.
That's how it would have to be because there's no way. There's no way you get into some of those cars I would love to drive. I'm like, I can't. First of all, they sit way too low to the ground. I can't bend down that far.
Those little smart cars.
Oh, some of those cars, I'm like, there's no way.
Those things
cars
you
look
can
really
flip
cool.
over.
Yeah.
I bet Junior could flip. Junior could flip that sucker easy.
Well, yeah, it's funny. We were sitting there at supper the other night talking. It was like, and Kit Kat was saying, well, my daughter's really upset when she actually found out how tall these Hollywood actors really are. Like, Robert Downey Jr. is like 5'7", 5'8".
Yeah.
All right, and some of these guys are like that. I'm like, I know. You don't have him hardly over 6 foot. The Rock is.
Yeah.
You'll have a couple like
He's got a history, though.
Yeah. But some of these other people are not. They're all tiny folk. That's why they drive around in all these hot little cars and stuff like that. Then you get up on them, it's like, oh, God, you're a giant. I'm like, no, I'm really not a giant. I'm tall, but I'm not a giant. But compared to these Hollywood people, because they have to match the height of these actresses, too, right?
Yeah.
And they're all short.
Yep.
There's very few of them who are tall and leggy or anything like that. So I'm like, that's why you have all these short people and stuff fitting in these little big cars. And now they're promoting all these little cars, so everybody's buying a little car.
I'm not.
You come up on one of them.
My car is tiny, but it's not tiny. Like, there's still room in my car. You've ridden in my car.
Oh, yeah.
There's room. It's spacious, which you were still like, ugh, it's cramped. My legs, man, I can't stretch out.
Well, that's
I'm
because
like,
my
I don't know
knee,
what to tell you.
my left knee hits your little shifter thing, and the right knee's on the door trying to knock the door out. You little people, man, y'all got it made. Y'all got it made. Yeah, it sucks, too.
Big guy in a little car.
Dude, it was rough, man. It was rough. So when is PWA? When is their next show?
PWA
Yeah.
or APW?
APW. Why say PWA?
Well,
I don't know when their show is either, to be honest. I thought they
I
had
don't
something
either.
booked, honestly.
yeah, I think they're still working on something.
Yeah.
Last I heard, they were. So Soul Train, if you're listening, give us some information.
Yeah, we need
brother.
to know.
Give us some information so we can promote that.
Guys, we're trying to promote your wrestling shows.
Yeah, brother.
Can't do it if you don't let us know.
Yeah. APW, maybe July, maybe. But I don't know because it was so hot in that building, like I said, Saturday night, and so I don't know if he's going to try and run again in July or if he's going to wait till August and see if he can find somewhere else to run.
Well, August ain't.
By
I was going to
then,
say, because August ain't going to be any cooler.
August isn't going to be any cooler.
It's going to be brutal.
So I'm not sure yet. But when that date gets, when something is said about it, I'll make sure that it's known. But yeah, this weekend we've got Cape Girardeau, CCW, in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, and Heath, formerly known as Heath Slater, will be there.
I saw that.
So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Marco Stunt was going to be there, doing a concert because he's talented.
Mm-hmm.
Marco is talented, like singer and guitar player. He's talented. He was going to be there and do a concert, but with AEW doing a show Saturday night, and Jungle Boy being in that AEW World Heavyweight Championship match against Kenny Omega,
You got to be there.
he got pulled from CCW. So and that makes sense. He needs to be there with his
That's
guy.
what you got to do.
Yeah. But still, big show this weekend for CCW. So I can't wait for that.
See, Thomas says, no, sir, APW is waiting till August. Well, there you go.
So
Answers
coming
that.
straight from the mouth of Too Good.
That's right. And you know what you got to. It's just, summer months are so hot.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have an air-conditioned place, it's brutal.
Redeemed is lucky.
Yes.
Redeemed is super lucky.
Yes. Because that's, dude, outside shows.
Yeah.
I ain't doing them.
That was a
no
no-no.
more. No more.
I think I think if we do it again, we need to like do it late in the afternoon and just get some just get some lights and set up like
Dude, I swear.
you know, something.
Oh, speaking of, so I got contacted about doing a show.
Where at?
Can't tell you right now,
Oh, okay. You can't tell
but
it.
I'm pretty excited.
You
about
can't
it.
tell it on air.
Well,
now.
I've never been there, so it would be a first.
Paragould, Arkansas.
No, no,
Just throw out random names.
no.
Possum Neck, Mississippi.
Possum Neck, Mississippi.
You know where
let's
that
go.
is?
I have no idea.
That's down there. That's
don't
down
know.
there right before you get to Kosciuszko.
I don't remember where Kosciuszko is. I know I've driven through it a couple times, and
Down
all
there
of a
close
sudden
to
you see it, and
Starkville.
the name's go, oh, okay, that's what
It's
that
close
is.
to Starkville.
So I've
I
never,
forgot you're not
I
from.
don't even remember it.
You're not from Mississippi. I forgot.
Dude, I stay in certain places in Mississippi.
Here.
That's it, here.
It's the
I
five-star
stay
city.
on the I-55 corridor
Yeah.
for the most part. I don't travel off the back roads.
Yeah.
You know, you out in the Delta, it's scary.
Yeah, it is.
You're like, it's a little frightening out here. I'm a 6'4" dude, 260 pounds. It's scary out here.
Yeah.
These people are hungry looking, and I don't want to be cannibalized because these folks, I mean, it's tough. I mean, you see some of that stuff, you're like, oh, mercy. Now, I would love to wrestle out there because to them, wrestling is very much real.
Yeah.
I mean, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
You know, I would love to wrestle in some of those places, but I don't feel like getting shot no more.
He said no more.
So, I mean, I tell you what. But, yeah, so we're going to see if this other thing works out, and maybe I can make the announcement or something. But
Okay.
that'd
Cool.
be kind of cool. It'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
So, I've never wrestled with these guys, so I would like to. Think about checking it out, seeing how it works, seeing how it works out and stuff.
Cool. Something to look forward to. For
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I've been trying to tell myself I just don't know yet. We're going to see. I have to wait and see when I get back in the ring if I feel like I can hold up to
How
it.
you're feeling? Yeah.
Yeah. Because you don't want to go to a place, right, and then diminish
Right.
the company you're going to work for.
Right.
No, that's like if I do this thing at Redeemed and I feel like I just can't do it, I'm just going to quit. I'm just going to retire. That's going to be it. You know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just kind of lead back to what I was talking about at the beginning. Just at some point, you got to figure it out and go, okay, I'm just not able to do it. I'm just not able to do it.
Yeah.
There's no shame in that. I mean, it's just one of those things. You know,
Mhm.
you just say, all right, that's it. Got to go. It's time to cut it short, but you kind of hope not. And we see what happens.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
at Redeemed, I can still Jerry Lawler it.
Right.
Some of these other
Right.
companies you can't. You know, some of these other companies you still got to be able to go and go and go.
Yep.
So,
But let's we're basically just about a month out from WWE bringing fans back,
yep.
and we've seen fans be brought back at AEW and then have full capacity shows at Daly's Place.
That's right.
Do you look for WWE to change anything up once fans come back, like stage wise? Of course, they're going to have to change the stage, I would assume, but because I saw an article last night from saying that Vince McMahon he understands like how fans are kind of pissed off about how WWE's been going of late as of late, and he said that there's still things in the bag that they've been holding back, I guess, waiting for the crowds
Fans
to come back.
Well, I get that. I do, but that is still no excuse for your storytelling and your
Yeah.
production, how you do it. You still can't put on garbage TV.
Mm-hmm.
You've got that talent that is out there busting their butts with the stuff that you're giving them. But if your stuff you're giving them isn't any good, then what are you doing?
Yeah.
So you can say that to a point. But at the same time, SmackDown's good.
Yeah.
SmackDown is the best thing on wrestling on TV right now. It just is.
Who's the head producer on SmackDown?
I do not know. I need
I
to
wonder
find
if
that
it's
out.
Heyman. Because Heyman was doing it at one point, I think.
It was at one point, but I don't know if he's
I don't
just
know who
with
it is
Reigns
now.
or not, but I don't know if he's contributing. But right now, it's the best thing going.
Yeah.
It's got the least amount of talent, but the best talent with what they're working with and then what they're allowed to do over there. And I don't understand that. SmackDown is part of WWE.
NXT is part of WWE.
Why are you not letting Raw do the same things? It's so formulaic. If anything, stop being formulaic. Change it up.
Yeah.
Start with a match. Open the show with a match. Stop opening shows with promos every single week.
First
It
25
sucks.
minutes of the
People
show.
hate it. Stop doing it. All right, you can do different things.
But
They just refuse to do them.
If you've got somebody that can cut a promo, it's fine to start the show with the first 20, 25 minutes as a promo, because that's how they've been doing that for years. But you had guys in the ring cutting the promos that knew how to do it, and you would bring other people into that promo time.
That's right.
To contribute to it.
I think you get into lazy production and lazy storytelling when you do that, and they spend a lot of money on their production.
Mm-hmm.
But if what you're putting out there is boring, it doesn't matter how much money you throw at it. You can use any amount of pyrotechnics, any kind of cool graphic that you want, but if your product is boring, it's boring.
Yeah.
And people will still tune out of it.
It hurts so much having creative writers in that room writing stuff that have no clue the history of wrestling.
Exactly, because here's the thing. They'll be in there like, you want to be cool. I know it'd be cool. We ought to make it do this, and we ought to make it do that. And the guy, but there may be one person on that roster that can do that, but that's not who you're writing for.
Have you seen
you're
what they did to Otis?
Oh my God.
That's one criticism for SmackDown that
this is the whole big thing about WWE in general. People will start to get over and they're like, well, we don't want that. I'm like, why? Why would you not want someone to get over? If someone can connect to the crowd and that's the guy that can bring your company to do something and sell more merch and do all these things and more eyes on the product,
why wouldn't you?
My God, let those people do it. That's what you're talking about. You always talk about the brass ring. You got guys who are the same. What they did to Rusev. It's the Rusev factor in my point. You know, was never supposed to get over with Rusev Day and made it work. It was the hottest thing going, and you just buried him.
Yeah, and now it's Miro Day.
Yep, and now you're doing the same thing with Cesaro. Cesaro has been great for a long time. Mm-hmm. He's getting all this steam, and he's cut his legs out from under him again.
Yep. So I guess he'll be back in the Intercontinental picture.
Yeah, which is dumb. He needs to be a champion because this dude has put in the work. This dude's put in the work. I'm a fan of it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you guys and gals tuning in to this episode of Bottom Card Booking right here on UndefinedRadio.com. We will be back next week. Hopefully with Randy, we'll see.
Maybe
we'll
full.
Let you know.
Maybe the third chair will be full. If it's not filled with Randy,
that's right.
Maybe we should see who we can get in.
We should get somebody in here.
Yeah,
definitely.
See if we can.
We need to get an interview in here. I think.
Right.
We need to get somebody on the horn.
Let's get a surprise guest.
We need to. I think we need to. We're gonna work on that. That's what we'll do this week. We'll work on getting a surprise guest in here, guys. For 2 Count, this is Big Daddy. We will talk to you soon.